We are on the air, Pops. What time is it?
It's Chomp time.
It is indeed. I am Mike. That is Pops. This is Chomp Time. This is episode 6, in which I've dubbed Aggies Come to Swampland. What do you think about that title?
Well, it's true.
I just came up with that on the spot because I didn't have a title. Aggies Come to Swampland, episode 6. Pops, this is a big game coming up in the swamp. Your thoughts?
You know, I never liked the term must win. I never liked that term. But sometimes when you don't like things, you have to be in reality and say, we really need this victory. We really need this victory because I'm afraid we don't get this victory, it's downhill.
I agree. I don't like the term must win either, except if it's in an elimination game or you're in the playoffs. Same type of deal. If you want to win the SEC and it's the last game of the year and you have to win the game to win, that's a must win. This is about as close as it gets because this starts off the SEC season. Napier's been on the hot seat for a year and a half now. We have a tad bit of momentum going into the game thanks to last episode, Stars Born. DJ Lagway has got a lot of people perked up about the Gators program because of what he did last week. So, episode 6, Aggies Come to Swampland, huge game. We're going to go over Texas A&M. We're going to break them down. We're going to self-scout our Florida Gators like usual, and then we will have, once again, our over and unders and predictions. So I'm going to start off with Pops breaking down the A&M Aggies. Tell us what they're all about, what we should look for, what to expect.
Well, before I do that, I'm going to do my normal thing. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the university itself, okay? A little bit about
Okay,
Texas A&M.
sure.
You know, they've been around a long time. They claim to have 3 national titles. Yeah,
All right.
1919, 1927, and 1939. 39 is probably the only one they can actually claim because they won the Sugar Bowl against, believe it or not, Tulane Green Wave
There,
to
sure.
go undefeated 11-0. They've had a
Oh,
couple of Heisman Trophy winners, John David Crow in 57, that's 1957. And of course, who could forget old Johnny Manziel in 2012? Can you believe it's been 12 years?
12 years since Johnny Football.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They have one Hall of Famer in the National Football League. That is Yale Lane. He's a safety. He is from. He played at Texas A&M from 48 to 51. That's their only Hall of Famer from Texas A&M.
Well, they have one coming in about 10 years, right?
Well, yeah.
Who is it?
Uh,
Who is it?
from who?
Who
Texas A&M?
from A&M? Who am I thinking about?
Tell me who you
I got
think.
I got you stumped. It's Myles Garrett. Myles
Oh
Garrett's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
he's gonna
I
be in the
agree.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Uh,
Continue.
they're known for being the 12th man, and it's a whole process about. They have one guy that's a non-player. He comes onto the field and he's wears number 12, has the honor of wearing number 12. Long tradition, pretty good. That's interesting. They have a former coach, Jimbo Fisher, who we kind of talked in the last episode. He was the coach from 2018 to 23. His record was 45 and 25, and they couldn't wait to get rid of this guy. But the reason why they got rid of him, he was 27 and 21 in the conference.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And he recruited at a very high level.
Very
He had
high.
a record class, whatever it was,
Yes.
2021 or 2022 with 5 stars all over the place. They bought that class, but most of them have since transferred other places.
Gone.
But
But
what
yeah,
else?
he was only 27, 21 in the conference. That's the history basically of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Tremendous fan base, great
Yep.
stadium.
Yep.
It's all good, but they're coming to the swamp, my friend.
Yes, sir.
So breaking it down, their quarterback is a guy named Connor Weigman.
Yes.
Uh, he's thrown so far for 225 yards.
Total in
Uh,
2 games, right?
yeah. He's got a 52% completion rate.
Not
He's
great,
he's thrown 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
right? Yeah,
Uh,
he's not very. I when I was looking up some stats for this episode, they lost to Notre Dame in week 1 at home. And
yes,
it's kind of similar to what the Gators had in that they had a ranked opponent coming in, a lot of hubbub about the game, and both the Gators and the Aggies underwhelmed in their home opener. They lost 23-13 to Notre Dame, who's recently lost to Northern Illinois. And
yeah,
Weigman in that game was 12 for 30 for
yes,
100 yards and 2 interceptions. So he
yeah,
he did not come out very strong in week 1. Mike Elko is their head coach, first year head coach.
right.
So that could be some of it. Just him on a enormous home field. When I think of A&M, I think of the Kyle Field. I think of the Malik Willis, the Malik Davis fumble, the game where Kyle Trask was leading for the Heisman going into Kyle Field, and his biggest target at the time was Kyle Pitts. So it was Kyle to Kyle in Kyle. The storylines were there. I think they did connect for a touchdown there. We were up late in that game, and unfortunately, I mean, Texas A&M was good, and they're trying to win the game too. So I don't want to blame
Yeah,
it all on Malik Davis, but huge fumble started to derail that season. That's what I think about A&M.
yeah,
The last time we played them was in 2022. Yeah, so that game must have been in 2021 because in 2022 they came to the Swamp and we beat them 41-24.
correct.
So, and Anthony Richardson had a big day, 2 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing. Texas A&M had A-Chain, and he had 16 rushes for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. Seems to me they didn't give him the ball enough, but I digress. Yeah, so it's interesting. I looked at his Mike Elko, the head coach of A&M, did well at Duke, head coach couple years, and that's why he landed the job at A&M. They beat McNeese State last week, 52-10. So they took care of a much lesser opponent, just like
But
we did.
yeah, but you look at the rushing. Okay, they got Moss who carried the ball 29 times for 154 yards. They got this guy Daniels who's carried it 17 times for 95, and the quarterback himself 11 times for 65. Each one of those is a 5.3 or better average.
Yes.
So that's where they got their running game going. I mean their game plan is running the ball. They
It
also have
seems
another running back on the team who's carried the ball 4 times for 24 yards. He wears number 22, and his name is E.J. Smith. Any
EJ
idea?
Smith. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, he went to Stanford for the first 3 years of his career, but his dad lives in Texas somehow, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's also going to be Mr. Two Bits, his
Yes.
dad.
Yes. Obviously, everyone knows we're talking about Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, his son EJ Smith plays for Texas A&M. Emmitt Smith, the one of the greatest Gators of all time, the NFL all-time leading rusher in yards, will be Mr. Two Bits for the game. So that's kind of interesting that he's Two Bits and his son plays for the opposing team. They do look like a rushing team. I believe they had 333 yards rushing against
Yes,
McNeese State.
yes,
Weidman, obviously, we said underwhelmed against Notre Dame at home with only 100 yards passing and 12 out of 30. I have to say that again. It's pretty weak.
right.
I don't. I think they're going to try and run the ball again. They have a few running backs led by Le'Veon Moss and Amari Daniels. I think they will test our defensive line, and rightfully so. They will test our linebackers, and rightfully so. I'm not too afraid of Weigman throwing the ball. They had
Well,
some great wide receiver recruits
Yeah.
in the last few years that have since transferred, like Evan Stewart. So, what do
But
you
that's
think they're going to do?
but that's I agree with you. I think they're going to try to run the ball, and this is where our defensive coordinator's got to look at this and say, okay, we got to put more men in the box. Okay, let's put more men in the box. If I mean, this guy has shown so far he hasn't thrown the ball very very much and very effectively. So hey, listen, we got to play some man to man, put some more guys in the box, and see what happens. We got to stop the
But
run.
they also have two transfers from Florida in
Yes,
linebacker Scooby Williams and cornerback Jaden Hill. Just something to look for. I don't know. I mean, game one, it looked like Jaden Hill had a few tackles. Game two, it looked like Scooby Williams had a few tackles. So we'll
we got
see
to
what happens on
we,
that front.
we got another Gator combination here. The assistant to the quarterback coach is Steve Spurrier's grandson.
No.
Yes, he came over with the head coach when he was at Duke, so that's where he came over. So his grandson is the assistant to the quarterback coach.
I'm okay with it. I think he's going to
Yeah,
sabotage the
yeah,
game. He's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
sabotage the game plan for sure.
yeah.
Um, so let's go move on to Florida. Quick note here. The game is Texas A&M is favored by 4.5, which
Correct.
you thought it was going to be more for Texas
I
A&M.
I did, I did.
Why?
Well, I just think that for whatever reason, Texas A&M has not had a good start like we didn't have a good start, and
Yeah.
I just had a feeling that they were going to start putting things together. But I wasn't thinking big numbers. I was thinking more like 6.5. That's
Okay.
all.
Well, just I disagree quite a bit with that. When I saw 4.5, when I look at the lines and the over under for the
Yeah.
game is 47, when I look at lines, Vegas is not wrong a lot. And 4.5, I have a good feeling about this game, and I did before I looked at the line, but not as much so now because that line scares me. We'll get into it, but 4.5 point favorite for A&M in the Swamp after a huge win, a huge coming out party for DJ Lagway, over under 47. So Vegas is basically saying A&M is expected to win this game 27-21, which I could see happening. But I'm going to tell you, I'll start off with Florida and saying why I don't think that's going to happen. We have finally got a little bit of momentum. We're trending upward, even if it's just a touch, we're trending upward. There
Yeah.
is hope around the program. There's hope
Yeah.
around Gator Nation. We have a quarterback. Now, I still like Graham Mertz. It sounds to me like Graham Mertz is going to still start this game. DJ Lagway, one way or another, is going to have at least a couple packages, if not series, in the game.
You know, it was interesting. I was watching a little bit of old head ball coach the other day, and the old
Yes.
head ball coach was talking about two quarterbacks. He goes, you know, I've had eight SEC champions. He goes, I've had. I'm sorry. He's had a number of SEC championships. Okay, where he won
Yes.
these games, and he's played four of them with playing two quarterbacks. So he
Okay.
kind of went through the whole thing about, hey, it's a little bit easier today with the quarterbacks because before you had to bring the quarterback, you had to run in and tell the play. Now you just bring the quarterback in, he already knows the play because it's in his helmet. So he says that they can change things a lot easier with the stuff in the helmet. He said, I would play both quarterbacks. So he actually said, I wouldn't have any problem alternating them either. He says,
Well, of course, but you're
if
talking
one's
about
better, if one's better than the other, play that guy.
yes, yes. You should go with the hot hand. But you're talking about Steve Spurrier. You're talking about the head ball coach. You're talking about the man
Yeah,
who
yeah,
changed SEC football
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
I do believe we are going to win this game for a couple reasons I'll say here in a minute. In spite of Billy Napier still trying to learn how to be a big time head football coach, I don't think that he is smart enough or to the level of Spurrier to be able to alternate guys in and out or in any kind of form, fashion in that way. I think he starts Mertz. I think that DJ gets in here or there, but I think by halftime, he's basically going to say, we have to go with DJ. Because I think the two will show their differences in their time to play, that DJ is ready to go. He's a true freshman. Mertz, I don't know if he's fully
Well,
recovered from his injury, but
I think
Mertz,
it all depends on the score. It all depends on where we
yeah,
at halftime.
yeah, I think we're going to run the ball a little bit. I think when DJ comes in, unfortunately, the crowd is going to be pumped up more so than when Mertz is in. Kind of like the opposite in 2006 when Tebow would come in,
Yeah.
the crowd would go crazy. And Chris Leak was very good and led us to a national title that year.
Yes, he did.
But the crowd was all about Tebow. And I think the reversal, I mean, somewhat similar this year. They'll be chanting for DJ. I do not want to hear any boos when Mertz goes on the field ever. I don't want to hear, you know, it's tough. I want to see DJ play. It seems very obvious to me that he is our present and future, and he's better than Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz has done a lot for our program in just under 2 years, and he will get the start, I think, because Napier is loyal to a fault at times. So we'll see what happens. But I do think we're going to be able to run the ball. There will be some early success with DJ. It'll probably be A&M leading at half.
Let me let
And
me let me tell you what I think is going to happen a little bit. I agree with you 100% about running the ball more. Okay, but I also think when DJ's out there, he's going to run more. I really think this is coming. I think now that we have Mertz back. Okay, you got two quarterbacks. Okay, I think he'll run. I think he was hesitant in running him last game for the simple purpose that we didn't know what was behind us.
yeah,
Now with Mertz back, I think that there'll be some packages for him running the ball. I really
that's
do.
a good point. It's a good point. I mean, if you get the RPOs going, if you get options with him and Montrell or him and Webb or him and Baugh, it's going to be tough. Who are you going to pick? I mean, DJ is very athletic and he could run the ball. I think your point is valid in that DJ threw for 425 yards last week and showcased that he's got a lot of throws in his bag. So A&M will have to respect us deep and over the middle and on the sideline. So there should be, if protection breaks down and there's nobody open, there should be a lot of open running lanes for him. Now he's got to know to get down because he took a couple of big hits.
He did, but also I think there'll be some opportunities for some reverses and with DJ out there. He's running around and all of a sudden they flip the ball to Wilson and Wilson takes off. There's going to be some opportunities with running this in this game. I really believe
Yeah,
that.
as everyone out there can tell, I probably can tell with how much I'm stuttering and kind of not sure. I don't know what to expect here. I know my Gators pretty well, but I don't know Napier all that well yet. I don't know that he might be smart enough to say he's starting Mertz and all of a sudden game time. This isn't the NFL where you have to announce all that stuff.
Yeah.
He might just start Lagway for the entire, like start him out and then have the plan to play him the entire game. I don't think he's going to do that, but he could.
No, no,
I
no.
don't
I
think
think
he's
he's
going
going
to
to
do that.
start. I think he's going to start Mertz. I really do.
And it remains to be seen how our team comes out. We are going to need Gator Nation in full force, loud, positive, cheering when they need to cheer, and quiet when they need to be quiet for this game. I think the crowd will have a big factor in the game. This is the Aggies' first road game of the year. Any team that has their first road game of the year, it's a major adjustment. You're not in your friendly confines. You don't have all your fans behind you. You don't have your
Freshman,
locker
first
room.
first time freshmen are on the road.
And it's not an easy place to play, the Swamp. I hope it gets more and more difficult to play in, but it will be jammed, I believe,
I
especially
believe
after
so.
what
I believe so too.
Lagway did last week. Opening game of SEC play. It's a winnable game. I don't like the 4.5-point spread. I think we should be favored.
Here's what I'm really looking for. We've had 2 games so far. Okay. I know I say okay.
Yeah, you do. Don't worry. I will. There's already 37 of those. I'm going to take out about 25 in post. Go ahead.
What I would like to see is the first drive of the game. When we get the ball, okay,
Yes.
do something.
Absolutely.
Do something. Too
Absolutely.
many times we go 3 and out, okay? And it's like, come on. Don't you have 20 plays written up? Let's go.
Yes. You should have been. You should have at least 6 to 10 plays that you've been running over and over and over and over again in practice this week. So when you get the ball, those 6 plays are script them. You know, it's done all
Right.
over the place on
Right.
every level. Script your first 6 plays, no matter where we are in the field. Those 6. Let's get out to a lead. I don't care if Mertz starts, which he probably will, and looks incredible on the first drive and scores. Don't let that alter your mindset with playing DJ. Stick to the plan. You're going to play both these guys, but get out to a lead. Ride that little bit of momentum you have, regardless of who you play at quarterback for that drive. Get in the end zone to start the game. Get Gator Nation into the game right away.
It also puts a lot of pressure on the defense, knowing that they're going to have to play this quarterback, and then that quarterback comes in, and this quarterback comes in. It puts a lot of pressure on these defenses when there's 2 guys coming in and out.
Yeah, for sure. And I would like to have them coming in and out in the middle of series too. I don't want them like Mertz has the first 2 series, DJ has this.
Agreed.
Agreed. You don't have to rotate them every play, but let's get them in and out of there.
You got to mix it up. Mix it up.
Mix it up for sure. You know, be a little bit unpredictable. Have just a touch of creativity. What's the love of God.
What's that?
Creativity, correct. And a final note on that: if we win the toss, I would like to defer. We're talking about getting off to a big start on offense. I would like to defer and set the tone defensively. You know, hopefully kick the ball in the kickoff, kick it out of the end zone, and have the crowd crazy in that side of the field to start the game. And
I always like the ball. I always like the ball in the second half. To take the ball in the second half.
Agreed.
It's just a lot of momentum.
Well, let's go to our over-unders for the week. Last week, I somewhat kicked your butt. Last week, I was 8-2. You were 5-5. So, yeah,
what's the combined?
I don't know. I was going to put that together. Maybe I'll do it in post, but I'm feeling a little bit of momentum myself when I was going over our predictions last week, and I was saying, another one for Mike. Oh, Pops was wrong there. Oh, another one for Mike. Pops was wrong there. So I was 8-2, 5-5. Let's see if you can do better this week. So we got 10 over-unders, kind of go in rapid fire form here.
Yeah.
Samford, Jesus. A&M quarterback Wiegman, 200 yards passing. He has not started out hot to begin the year. We have said that earlier. Texas A&M quarterback Wiegman, 200 yards passing, over or under? Anytime.
I'm going to go over.
Pops goes over. I go under. He is underwhelmed in his first 2 games.
I know.
I think they will try and run the ball.
I hope I'm wrong.
Our defense will be up to the task. Running back Le'Veon Moss for Texas A&M, 100 yards rushing, over or under?
So far in 2 games, he's at 154, so he's 80 yards. I'll go over.
Pops is going to go over. I am going over also. They do like to run the ball.
Yeah.
And they will stick to it, I believe, for most of the game. Graham Mertz, Gator quarterback, 200 yards passing, over or under? Graham Mertz, 200 yards passing.
Under.
I have the under also. I think DJ's going to play most of the second half. That's just my prediction. Mertz might start off hot, but it's going to be too much crowd begging for DJ. I think we're going to be losing at half, and he knows where he is as far as the hot seat goes. as far as where the program is,
Yeah,
huge game. I think that Mertz will be under 200 yards passing. DJ Lagway, 150 yards passing, over or under?
over.
I have the over as well. Let's hope this happens.
Yeah.
Because if DJ throws for over 150 yards, I think we're winning the game. Because Mertz is going to get his opportunities to play.
Right.
I don't know that DJ is going to play even half the game. So if DJ throws for over 150 yards, I think we're going to win the game. Gators points. Now, like I said before, the over-under is 47 points total in the game. So Vegas is saying A&M's going to win the game 26-21 approximately.
Yes.
I think they're, not hitting the mark there with what the Gators are going to do. Mike's Gator over under points is 24 and a half. Over under Gator points.
Over.
I have the over 2. Aggies points 25 and a half. Over under.
Under. That tells you where I'm going.
Pops. Yeah, I have. Unfortunately, we are agreeing a lot here, and so I have the under with that. The announced crowd, 91,000 is my over under for the announced crowd.
Under.
We do have some momentum, but that's a lot of people.
Under.
You have the under. I have the over there. Just the touch of an upward trend for the Gators has me thinking in the first SEC game of the year, a winnable game. What's going to happen with the quarterbacks? The crowd's going to be there in full force and loud. I have the over with that. Okay, here we go. Here's a fun one. Emmitt Smith, EJ Smith references during the game. 1.5 references, over or under?
Over.
I have the over. 2. There'll be at least 2 references to that.
Well, we're on at 3:30 in the afternoon, and we have ABC doing the game, so it'll be over.
So what is the time of the game and ABC doing the game?
Because we get better announcers and guys that'll be more into we don't have the guys that we had last week, so it'll be better announcers that know more.
So you think it's going to be over because of the quality of the announcers? That's an interesting take. We'll see if that's a hot take or an icy cold take after the game. UF trick plays, 1.5. Over under. UF trick plays.
All right.
Again, he's stumped.
I'm going to say over.
You are saying over. I thought for sure you were going to say under there. I am saying under. We might do one trick play. Again, I will predict it doesn't work. And again, I will predict that Billy Napier throws any other trick plays he has on his call sheet out the window. But Pop says they're going to run more than 1.5. I actually hope they do, because we'll get back to that term, creativity. Have some imagination. Even if the first one doesn't work, you should be practicing trick plays. Just
I hope so.
Okay. You said a big. Oh, we didn't even do keys to the game this week. Huh? F it. So you said last week that a key to the game this week would be penalties. The penalties on UF, the accepted penalties against Florida this week, 6.5, over under.
Under.
Wow, you think that he's coached them up this week? They're going to be more disciplined. You
Yes.
have a lot more faith in Billy Napier than I do.
Well, if you go both games, it's under. If you go put both games together as far as penalty goes.
No, because we had 7 for 77 last week.
Yeah, but we had 2 only in the first game, so it's only 9. You're talking about just the number of penalties?
I'm talking about the number of penalties that's called on UF that are accepted by the other team.
Yeah.
6.5.
I go lower than that.
You have the under. Okay, I have the over. I think you're absolutely wrong, and the game will show that. Real quickly, the keys to the game. I think, once again, turnovers, huge in every game. I think penalties are going to be huge. If we can somehow do what you're saying, we're going to be in a much better spot if we play a clean game. And then the game plan, once again, is going to be huge. You agree?
100%.
Okay, so those are keys to the game. Take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay, final prediction for the game. I am going the Mighty Gators 31, Texas A&M 27. A game in which we will come back from a 20-7 or so deficit at halftime behind DJ Lagway roaring back. 31-27 Gators. What do you say?
I have the Gators winning 27-24.
All right, we're pretty close there. I hope that we are correct. I'm very excited for the game. I once again have to work. At some point, I will develop other skills so that other industries out there will give me interviews, much less give me job offers. I can't really blame them right now. I've been a lazy, but I'm getting there, buddy. I'm developing skills. Here's a skill right here.
There you
Just
go.
talking with you. Who would have ever thought that I would figure out how to have side-by-side Pops in Florida, me in Indiana, and be able to edit stuff at the end, edit stuff at the beginning, develop a show, an episode. I'm trending up, Pops, just like the Gators. I am trending
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. So always great to see you, great to have you. I'm Mike, that's Pops. This is the Chomp Time Podcast. This was episode 6. Aggies come to Swampland. Let's hope for a Gators victory. What do we always say to close out the episode?
Go Gators!
Go Gators! Cheers.